What screams I make terrible financial decisions? In Western Australia, it looks like this. Get laid off by mining company that was initially paying you well, specifically because it isn't a secure position, but never mind that. Already taken out a $600K plus loan on a house, a $80K loan on a sick V8 Commodore, plus another $10K putting in performance cams and a straight-through exhaust so you can pull mad skids. This is all on the justification that I'll be able to smash these loans out in a couple years on this salary, Fuck. What do now? What's that? Tickets to Bali are $300 return? Better take the family for a booze-fueled cheap shit buying bonanza. It's fine. We'll just remortgage the house. Dead fucking easy. This might get ranty because I just need to vent it out. One of my colleagues is probably the nicest man on the planet. He's kind, considerate, and loyal. You couldn't write a movie script for a better person. No Rhodes Scholar, but very hardworking and liked by everyone. Almost every person in his life takes horrendous advantage of him. I can tell that he deeply fears being rejected by his loved ones and craves their approval and acceptance, but it has crossed a line. They have a joint income of over $150K, and yet are circling the drain in debt and can barely pay any bills. They live in credit. His wife is usually a decent person, but when she says jump, he asks how high. This has resulted in numerous luxury shopping trips, her mother moving in and being a complete leech on their lives, vacations, and they just had to buy 2 brand new vehicles last year with all the bells and whistles. They can barely pay the mortgage and the house is a mid-size fixer-upper. At least every week or two he comes in and I force out of him the latest thing they spent way too much money on. Almost everything is on pay installments, even their utility bills. He pays for 5 cell phones. He usually can't drive his truck because there is no gas in it. In the summer, we have BBQs every week for about $3-5. Hot dogs are cheaper than burgers. And there are times he doesn't have the $3. A 45-year-old man with a 6-figure income doesn't have $3 2 days after payday. Thankfully, his kids are clueless that there is a problem. As it should be, they are kids and don't need adult problems. They get whatever they need for school. My concern is that one day the bubble will burst. Repo companies will come in, creditors are calling, they are precariously close to the edge at all times. All I can do is encourage him to get therapy and learn to say no, but I can't force it. Treating the limit on their credit card as money they have. They have a $5,000 limit on a new card and immediately think what they could buy with $5,000. And opening a new credit card when they run out of that $5,000. I used to be a cashier at a store which had their own credit card that can only be used at that store. Most of the credit applications I processed were either denied or given very low credit limits, because those cards attract people with the worst financial decisions. I used to work at GameStop. I had a customer that bought a PlayStation because a particular exclusive game came out for it, then would trade the system and game in to buy an Xbox when a new exclusive for it came out about a month later, and would go back and forth trading the respective consoles and games in every few months. I tried to convince him to just own each system and buy the games for each when they release because he was losing so much money doing what he was doing. His response was that he couldn't afford to buy both at the same time. I didn't have the brightest customers. I worked at a store called Vintage Stock. It's a lot like GameStop. We had people like that for us too. We were in the same strip center as a GameStop, and we paid out less cash than they did. A guy came in saying he was playing our system by buying our cheap shit and selling it to GameStop. Like buying a used PS4 from us for like $300 and selling it to GS for like $100 instead of to us for $80. Like you didn't make $20, you spent $200. WTF. Rent-a-center. Heard a coworker talking about their new bong, and she showed me a picture of it on a table with burn marks. I asked why it was so burnt, and she said, "Ugh, rent-a-center's on my ass because I haven't paid yet, but I don't want to. I shouldn't have to pay for a burnt table." I replied, "Why would they even rent it to you like that?" She says, "Well, they're assholes. I told them I burnt it and they won't even give me a discount or anything. They want more. This bitch's new bong cost more than a table I now own off Craigslist, and she's $200 in debt for a table she can't even keep." I still think about that interaction maybe twice a week. Edit. Clarified that I didn't buy the table off of her. Asking your friends on FB for $250 to pay your bills, then post pics the next day of you at the movie theater with $40 of snacks. I have a friend who asks to borrow more than she actually needs so that she can still go out and party. For example, she may only need $200 but will ask for $300 so that she has an extra $100 to buy booze and party with. Edit. A lot of you are asking if she pays back. She has always paid me back. Not sure about the many others, but wouldn't be surprised. But not when she says she will. It took her nearly 3 months. 3 months after the date she told me she would be able to pay me back. To pay me back $100. I've also witnessed her borrow money from someone to pay back someone else. I have reason to believe that she doesn't pay some of her family back like her mom or brother, because they always give it to her no matter what. She always borrows money from people. It's a regular, weekly thing for her. Setting up a GoFundMe account to get their Facebook friends to pay for their wedding instead of opting for a simpler wedding or having a longer engagement or eloping now and having the big party later, while still going out to dinner every other night and taking expensive trips. I used to know a guy who was renowned for making bad decisions in general. To be fair, he was funny and had a heart of gold. He just wasn't a logical thinker. He never had any savings. He was always buying his girlfriend of the month pretty expensive things and always mooching off his mum. One of the more flawed decisions that has always stuck with me was when his car broke down. It was a piece of junk, so it was bound to happen, no biggie. He was feeling pretty blue because of it, as well as a collection of other things that had happened around the same time, largely through his own choices. So he decided that in order to finally become a winner, he needed to look and feel like a winner. And do you know what makes you look and feel like a winner? Owning a brand new Chrysler. He was so excited about it, he could feel good things coming his way already. He'd picked the one he wanted, 70K AUD. He'd spoken to the dealer and organized when he was going to come in and do the paperwork. Everything was looking great for him. Then when he went to the dealership to sort it all out, it turned out that he hadn't been in his current job for long enough. So the loan finance, which he elected to do through the dealership, couldn't be approved. He came back looking pretty defeated, but in my opinion, being declined that loan was one of the luckiest things to ever happen to him. This man should not be in charge of his own money. In my part of the world, it's the newly hired on the oil rigs when the market is booming. Go out buy a truck with a $1,000 monthly payment, then buy a house with a $3,000 monthly payment. Then when the market drops, they lose it all, and their credit ends up ruined, so it's harder to find a decent car place to live. Eating out for lunch every single day and complaining about how poor broke you are. No shut, Sandra. Was that peanut and chicken kale salad with a side of pasta and extra bakery treat really worth it? Questioning you on savings. When you let a friend know how much you have saved and they ask why you aren't spending more. Because if I spent it, I wouldn't have any saved. That's how saving fucking works. Recently got an argument with a friend about that. They accidentally saw my bank statement. My fault. I forgot to put it away before they came to my friend. Since they discovered what I have in saving, they always go back to it when I refuse an activity because I find it too expensive. I'm saving to pay driving lessons, and then a new car. To me, this money isn't mine. It's the car dealer and driver instructors, so I can't spend it. I even tried to explain to them that it's to pay for future debts, like credits in reverse, because sometimes weird stuff works. They still don't understand the concept. I know someone who uses Rent-A-Center. I can't believe it's legal. He's paying like $50 a month for the last 3 years for a PS4 and another $100 a month, same time frame, for a TV that's no more than $800 if he bought it. But he keeps paying for it. He could have bought multiple TVs and PS4s in this time frame. He recently posted on social media wanted people's opinions on if it's worth it. Complaining on Facebook that you can't afford the $200 it will take to cover your kids' school supplies this year, but also posting a daily pic of your Starbucks drink.